Welcome to Module 2. In our last module, we went through the introduction of design. We talked about visual communication. We talked about our design elements, our design principles, and we also looked at Canva. So we're still building the foundational aspects of your learning. Now we will focus on color theory and psychology. Color theory is the set of principles used to create color combinations that work together. It helps designers understand how colors interact, how they can evoke emotions, and how to apply them in design to create the desired impact. In graphic design, using colors effectively can enhance communication, highlight important information, and make designs more visually appealing. A grayscale design that feels dull can spring into excitement with the addition of color. Colors add life to design, and colors have meaning. As a designer, we need to be able to understand how colors work so that in our designs, we can choose colors that work together, look good together, and that communicate the appropriate meaning we intend with our design. Here are a few key concepts you need to understand. Number one is hue. Hue refers to the color we see. Red is a hue, green is a hue, blue is a hue, and so on. But notice how I didn't say sky blue or navy green because the hue is the base color without any light or darkness. Next is saturation. Saturation is the intensity of a color. If you could increase the volume of a color, the higher saturated one will have a higher volume and the lower saturated one will have a lower volume. You might have experienced this if you've attempted adding saturation while editing a photo. Here's an example. And number three is brightness. This refers to how bright or dark a color is. Adding white to a color makes it lighter, creating a tint, and adding black to the color makes it darker, creating a shade. Let's talk about the color wheel. The color wheel is a circular diagram that visually organizes colors based on their relationships to one another. It helps artists, designers, and creators understand how colors interact and blend, allowing for effective color schemes and combinations. The primary purpose of the color wheel is to illustrate how primary colors, secondary colors, and tertiary colors are connected and can be used together. But you might wonder, what are primary, secondary, and tertiary colors? So, primary colors are the fundamental colors from which all other colors are made. You have your red, blue, and yellow. And you see these illustrated in the color wheel. These colors cannot be created by mixing other colors. Now, secondary colors are the result of mixing two primary colors together. Remember, we have red, blue, and yellow as our primary colors. So if we mix red and blue, we have purple. Purple is a secondary color. If we mix red and yellow, we have orange. Orange is a secondary color. If we mix blue and yellow, we have green, and green is a secondary color. Now, tertiary colors are a step further down the mixture ladder. To get tertiary colors, we take one primary, one secondary, and we mix them together. For example, we can take blue, which is a primary color, and green, which is a secondary color, and that gives us teal. So, teal is a tertiary color. You often see the color wheel in a diagram that looks like this. So now you understand the makeup of the color wheel. Let's talk about color harmony. We'll start with three different types of harmonies. The first one is complementary colors. Complementary colors are directly opposite each other on the color wheel. For example, red and green. These pairs create strong contrast and make each other stand out. Number two, we have analogous colors. Now, these ones are next to each other on the color wheel. For example, blue, blue-green, and green. And then we have triadic colors. These are three colors that are evenly spaced across the color wheel. For example, red, blue, and yellow. Now that you understand these basic examples of color relationships, let's talk a bit about color families. Color families refer to groups of colors that are closely related based on their position on the color wheel. These categories make it easier to choose colors when designing. Now, we have warm colors, and warm colors include hues like red, orange, and yellow. We call them warm because they evoke warmth, energy, and enthusiasm, similar to the feelings of sunshine. We also have cool colors. These are colors like blue, green, and purple. These colors have a calming effect. We often associate them with nature, water, and peace. We also have neutral colors. Now, these are colors like white, black, gray, and brown. You won't find them on the color wheel, but they're essential for balance in design. As an extension, we have pastel colors and earth tones. So, earth tones are often muted colors created by reducing the saturation to give them a more subdued and natural appearance. Remember when we were talking about volume? So, we reduce the volume to get earth tones. And in contrast, we have pastel colors, which are softened by adding tints, which is adding whites, which gives them a gentle, calm, and sometimes playful vibe. In the next video, we'll be looking at color psychology and its impact. See you there.